What's up everyone, I'm Lego Technic and today I want to show you this, which is a 4-speed gearbox. It uses two separate drive lines with two different driving rings that are then connected with a different gearing on each one so that you get 4 speeds. I have tested it with a medium motor and it works fine, except that it occasionally jams while shifting and and when it's shifting from fourth to first gear it jams. So I'm not sure how to fix that, but the thing is I have absolutely zero idea where to put this gearbox into. uh, it's for sure not for a child truck because I don't think it's heavy duty enough. It uses some questionable reinforcement methods such as this one and this one, where there is a lot of space left between these two beams, and there is also this which is attached with pins so it can just slide out. So it's definitely not fit for a child truck, but for something else it might work. So what else? Maybe I can make some sort of road going truck with rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, because we have on both sides we have drive, so maybe I can squeeze all-wheel drive into a model. And who knows, maybe I can even make a dump bed if I move the drive motor over to the front and replace it with something more powerful. The model is most likely gonna be built on 49mm wheels, these ones. The border could be 13 studs wide, because that is the minimum the shifters allow. Speaking of which, I'm not sure if I will add a large motor from this model to this one to shift, or if I'll use that motor to drive the model and make a medium motor do the shifting. I'm really not sure about that, because the last time I used a L motor for shifting with a buoy zap, it did not work very well. But now almost all of my electronics are in other models that I'm gonna bring to the Boobies gathering, so I don't have access to most of my electronics at the moment. So either I will test every function separately, or I will wait till I return to the gathering to test it. Now let's see if I can come up with something. Well, as you can see, we're having fitment problems with the rear axle. So, what happened? Well, basically, this gear is our problem. That is, if we put the drive motor here, then we won't have any suspension trouble, and I want to have suspension in this model because I think there can be enough space if we try hard enough, although I am being proven wrong right now. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, as I speculated earlier in the video, I think we should move the drive motor to the front. Actually, all the motors should be in the front because the front suspension is, I think, will be independent, so that will allow for a bit more space than a live axle here in the rear. So that's what we're gonna do now. Well, I've made the rear frame, so as you can see, there is no space for the drive motor in the rear, except for maybe if I mount it like that or something like that, I don't know. But we'll see. Maybe I can add some sort of manual attachment, like maybe a crane. In general, there are a lot of options. But yeah, the drive is connected and the shock absorbers are connected, and there are two links. Although it would be nice if I managed to make the mounting points for some more so that it stabilizes the axle like that, because right now, as you can see, it bends quite easily. But we'll see how that goes. uh, Also, I noticed while driving the gearbox like that, from this end there is actually a surprising amount of friction. From this end, almost no friction at all. And if we move it over to first gear, from here it's also barely any friction, which is great because that means that there's going to be very little stress on the motor when it drives the gearbox. So now I will try to make a little bit more of the frame and the middle part. Wish me luck. Okay, so there ended up being a little bit of a problem with the shock absorbers bending while the suspension is compressed, and I solved that by installing them directly above the axle. And this is some advice that anybody who's making live axle should keep in mind. If you're making a live axle, you need to mount the spring as close as possible to the axle, to the center of the axle, so that it doesn't bend while being compressed, and you will end up with a nice, soft, and responsive suspension. Also, you might wonder, what are these things for? Well, I decided that since I discovered that uh, the wheels collide with the frame when the suspension is compressed to the side like this, that would obviously jam the suspension. That is to jam the the wheels. So I installed these. These are mounted on friction pins, on frictionless pins, so that there is no resistance when they're rolling. So when it's compressed, you can completely freely roll because this part rolls together with the wheel. You can see it on camera, but there is very little resistance this way. I also added these panels, which are gonna help me make the middle part. And speaking of the middle part, that's where the drive motor is gonna be, and that is where the shifting motor is gonna be. Right now I don't know if I'll be able to fit everything in there, but as usual, wish me luck. Well, I have successfully installed the shifting motor for the gears. There is just one main concern, and that is that there is going to be too much backlash, especially on this side, because there are so many gears. I think there are 7 total leading to this and 3 leading to this. So hopefully that doesn't create any problems going forward. Yeah, I also hope I won't have any software issues in the Buoys app with the gearbox function, because the last time I tried using it, the motor didn't want to turn 90 degrees and instead turned like 120 degrees. So hopefully that does not happen this time. The next thing on our to-do list is to install a drive motor. And I'm actually thinking of installing it over here instead of here, because then there will be no space for the steering motor. Or alternatively, I could take a steering motor, a medium motor, I could put it like this, and then I could put a drive motor over here. So we're gonna see how that goes. Okay, so here is how it went. I installed the steering motor over here, although right now it's not connected to anything because there is no steer mechanism. And the drive motor has been moved all the way back. Because I could theoretically move it here in the front, but then I should lead the axle all the way from here through there and then have it in a similar position. That will create a huge amount of stress in the drivetrain, which we obviously don't want. So all the way back it is. Right now the gearbox is in fourth gear. No, first gear. Yeah, it's in first gear. I connected the motor to a battery box. So now let's see how it works. There seems to be no cracking, which is great, and the differential seems to work well. uh, I'll attach these wheels to here temporarily so that it can roll, and we're gonna test it on the floor now. Just I have to attach the wheels. There is no traction. Okay, it seems to hold up fine and up against stress. So I would say that so far this project is a success. Um, Although unfortunately we have to end this episode now. In the next episode there will be the front part, steering mechanism, front suspension, front drivetrain, and the bodywork. So stay tuned for that, and make sure to subscribe if you want to and if you enjoyed this video, and also click like. Thank you, bye.